Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're taking another look at construction on Operations and Maintenance Center 4 in December of 2024. Known as OMC4 for short, it's the first major new yard to be built since the original OMC1 in Burnaby. Major construction started in the summer of 2023 with an expected completion date of 2027, in time to provide capacity for the Broadway subway extension. The most recent cost estimate has increased from $816 million in 2023 to $1.3 billion at the end of 2024. Part of that is the increasing labor and material costs, possible tariffs, and the redesigning of the maintenance bays. When complete, it'll store up to 170 SkyTrain cars, as well as provide all their service and maintenance needs. OMC4 is designed to handle the extended length of the new 5-car Mark V trains, which will be going into service early in 2025. In total, 47 new Mark V trains have been ordered, with most of them arriving between now and 2028. Another 6 trains are expected to arrive in 2029 for the opening of the Surrey-Langley SkyTrain extension. Since our last look at the project in the spring, a lot has happened. Retaining walls are under construction along the perimeter. The temporary lock-block wall that was in place during the preloading phase has been removed and replaced with a large concrete retaining wall. The walls are being poured in multiple steps. First, the ground is prepared by pumping grout piles into the ground to form a solid foundation. Then, the base is laid out with rebar and poured. The final step is the wall itself. The walls and base form an L shape that makes a very strong retaining structure once backfilled. That allows for this part of the site to be raised to the same height as the rest of the yard, creating as much usable space as possible. The other retaining wall is being built along the site boundary with North Road. It follows the elevation change with stepped levels. We can see the thick base used to support the walls. With a retaining wall here, the large hill that was here could be removed, allowing for more usable space on site. The preload for the future main maintenance building is being removed and relocated to the other side of the site. An excavator is loading dump trucks that make the short trip across the site. Nearby, excavation is underway for the first building foundations. This is for the first of 3 major buildings that will have tracks running in them. Where the flyover connects to the yard, the first few columns are taking shape. The piles for these columns were constructed late in 2023 and are now receiving their first above-ground portions. A few have already been poured and are wrapped in insulated tarps while they cure. Crews are preparing the others by installing the rebar cages and forms. Across the rail yard, a large track drill rig has been working on the piles that will support the future columns that run parallel to the existing guideway. We can see the auger bits, spoil bin, and the large clamping device that holds the pile casing in place while material is excavated from within. The rebar cages that will be installed into the piles are on site as well. It's a tight work site with the BNSF rail yard on one side and the active guideway and Highway 1 on the other. Up on the guideway, crews are nearing completion on the first phase of switch relocation. As mentioned in my previous video, it was unclear as to what the plan was since there was a draft plan and graphic from TransLink that disagreed. Turns out, the TransLink graphic is correct. The pocket track is being reconfigured by flipping the switches on each end to connect to the opposite track. While it would have been preferred to have both ends of the pocket track connected to both tracks, it wasn't possible since the new Mark V trains are too long to safely park there without fouling the double switches. These drawings help to better explain the problem and solution. First, we have the ideal solution, which has connections on both ends of the pocket track to both main lines. This provides the most flexible option from an operational point of view, but has a considerably shorter maximum train length. Whereas the design currently under construction is not as good for operating, it allows for the longer Mark V trains to be stored safely. Back on the closed inbound track, the switch that used to be on the east end is gone. Forms for the new parapets are being installed. From here you can see where the outline of the old switch and track were. On the west side of the inbound track, more forms are in place for the new configuration. It's interesting seeing the old switch still aimed at the pocket track, but not connected. This phase of construction is expected to end sometime in the spring. That's when the service pattern will change, and work can begin on the outbound track. There, as well as the pocket track reconfiguration, several new switches will be installed connecting the outbound track to the flyover. This section of Guideway was never originally planned to have a yard connection. Early on when this project was being designed, there was the possibility that to build a proper connection, the Guideway would have to be closed, torn down, and rebuilt. Thankfully, a less disruptive solution was found. Anyways, that's everything for this construction update on the Operations and Maintenance Center 4. We'll check back on it in about 6 months' time. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.